our continuing series on Lexington history, keeping safe in winter weather, and paramedicine. This and more up next on this week's edition of Lexington Now. I'm Neil Noah, and this is Lexington Now for the week of February 4th, 2019. Here is the latest segment in our continuing series on Lexington's history.
Mount Horeb Presbyterian Church is one of many old church buildings scattered throughout rural Kentucky. Located along Ironworks Pike just 2 miles east of the Kentucky Horse Park, this church was organized on April 21, 1827, at nearby Cable's Dale. Then home of Mary Cable Breckinridge, the widow of a U.S. Senator and Attorney General in Thomas Jefferson's cabinet. The original brick church was constructed in 1828 on this site, later burning in 1925. The current structure of similar design was dedicated here in 1926.
This time of year, winter weather can strike at any time. Are you prepared for the hazards that come with driving on snow and ice?
Make sure you have a plan before you go out and start thinking about some of the things that you're going to need. You need to have warm clothes on. There's no telling what can happen while you're driving around. Anything is possible, especially that's why we call it an accident. Just make sure you have warm clothes on, and it's not a bad idea to have some type of a blanket or something in the car. Due to the weather, it could take us a little bit of time just to get to you, and if you're in the car, it takes absolutely zero time for the car to easily cool off, and next thing you know, you're freezing. So just make sure that you wear the proper clothing during this time of the season. Make sure you have water available. Carry a water with you, so that way if you are stopped somewhere and don't have help, that you have a water bottle or something to kind of keep you occupied. Make sure that you have your cell phones and stuff charged up. A lot of times what happens is that once that car dies, you don't have a way to charge up your cell phone. So you definitely need to make sure your cell phone is charged before you go out. One key thing is that we see a lot is that people run out of gas. If you're out and about, or if you're in heavy traffic and there's a traffic accident, sometimes you just you're not going to be able to get to the gas station due to the road conditions. So make sure if it comes on your mind that maybe I should get some gas, go ahead and get some gas. Don't try to make it, just stop at the first gas station and get yourself some gas. One of the things that we want to stress is that make sure that you have a plan on the direction you want to go. Also have an idea if I do come to some type of traffic accident, that I have a different route that I can take. Inform people that you're going to see or the destinations that you're going. Inform them that, hey, I'm on my way. I should get there about this time, so that way they have an idea of how long it should take you. Also keep them updated if you do get involved in an accident, so that way they know what's going on with you. One thing that we also as a police department really want to stress, and please take heed to this, is that if you see an accident, especially on the New Circle Road or anything, anywhere where there's a double lane, please get over. It's extremely dangerous for officers to be on the side of the road trying to work to clear up the lane, and then have people, when there's a wide open lane, not get over for us. You never know what could happen. You can lose control and also hit the officer or the pedestrian that's on the side of the road. So if you do see an accident, slow down, get over into the other lane, and then make it a safe passage for the officers. The one thing that the Lexington Police Department really wants to stress is for everybody just to take their time, make it to your family safe and sound, and just take your time, be patient, take a deep breath, relax, you'll get there. It may take a little bit longer, but as long as you get there, that's the ultimate goal. Be safe out there to the citizens of the community. The Lexington Police Department is always here for you. We're always thinking about you, and we want to make sure that everybody's safe. If you're hearing that there's bad weather out there, don't go out and test that. I mean, one of the things that people do is they go out, they have their big four-wheel drive, but most of the accidents that we see are with vehicles with four-wheel drive, just for a simple fact that the roads are just that bad. So if you don't have to be out in this type of weather, don't go out. Stay home with your family, drink some chocolate, and hang out and eat some popcorn and watch a movie. So it's just one of those things that if you don't have to be out there, don't test it.
As we saw with our recent brush with the polar vortex, snow and ice aren't the only hazards brought by winter weather. Like it or not, winter is upon us. And it often brings hazards like snow and ice. But there is another danger that is not as frequently addressed, and that is the cold. During especially cold weather, it is best to stay indoors. But if you must venture out, here are some guidelines you should follow to stay safe. Dress warmly in layered clothing, including a hat, a scarf, or knit mask to cover your face and mouth, sleeves that are snug at the wrist, mittens, a water-resistant coat, and water-resistant boots. Avoid exertion, as cold weather puts an extra strain on the heart. Those with heart disease or high blood pressure should follow their doctor's advice about shoveling snow or performing other activities in the cold. When outside, avoid walking on ice and keep your steps and walkways as free of snow and ice as possible. Be on the lookout for signs of hypothermia and frostbite, two common cold weather-related health problems. Warning signs of hypothermia, which is an abnormally low body temperature, include shivering, exhaustion, confusion, fumbling hands, memory loss, slurred speech, and drowsiness. If you detect symptoms of hypothermia, seek medical care immediately. Get the victim into a warm room and remove any wet clothing. Warm the center of the body first with an electric blanket if available. Otherwise, use skin-to-skin contact under loose, dry layers of blankets, clothes, towels, or sheets. Warm beverages can help increase the body temperature, but do not use alcoholic beverages. Warning signs of frostbite or an injury to the body caused by freezing include redness or pain in any skin area, white or grayish-yellow skin, skin that feels unusually firm or waxy, and numbness. If you detect symptoms of frostbite, seek medical care immediately. Get the victim into a warm room and immerse the affected area in warm, not hot, water. Do not rub the frostbitten area with snow or massage it, as this can cause more damage. Do not use a heating pad, heat lamp, or the heat of a stove, fireplace, or radiator for warming, as the frostbitten areas are numb and can be easily burned. These procedures are not substitutes for medical care, and all emergencies should be reported to a physician or healthcare provider. If you follow these simple rules and exercise caution, you can weather the worst winter has to offer and come out healthy on the other side when the warm breezes of spring start to blow. When we come back, we'll tell you how community paramedicine is making Lexington safer for everyone and saving money.
This message is brought to you by the U.S. Fire Administration. Have two ways out. When fire strikes, deadly smoke can fill your home within minutes. That's why the USFA wants you to plan and practice home fire drills. Draw a map of each level of your home showing all doors and windows. Discuss the map with everyone who lives with you. Practice your home fire drill at least twice a year. Make sure all doors and windows that lead outside open easily. Push the smoke alarm button to start the drill. Try feeling your way in the dark or with your eyes closed. Have at least two ways out of every room. If your first way out is blocked by fire or smoke, you can use your second way out. If there is smoke, get low and go. Crawl quickly under the smoke to your nearest exit. Close doors behind you and gather at a pre-planned outside meeting place where first responders can see you. Call 911. Remember, get out and stay out. Never go back inside for people, pets, or things. Learn more at www.usfa.fema.gov.
Cigarette butts are Lexington's #1 most littered item. Don't trash the bluegrass.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. Frequent calls to 911 by callers who aren't necessarily in an emergency situation have been on the increase in recent years. But one program by the Lexington Fire Department is reversing that trend.
246, we have a good one, drive please.
Lexington firefighters Patrick Branham and Seth Lockard are headed to a drug overdose.
1135.
In this case, thankfully, the patient is okay.
We're going to take your blood pressure, buddy, okay?
Branham is going to the hospital to try to talk the man into getting drug treatment. What he's doing is a new way of handling the job of first responder. This is community paramedicine.
A kind of non-traditional use of the paramedic.
The community paramedicine program started in late 2017 in response to people who call 911 5, 10, or even 20 or more times a month.
We're really good at showing up and fixing a problem really fast. We have people that call because they just need to get from the bed to the living room for the day, and then they call again because they need to get from the living room back to the bedroom. People have called to get to the other side of town. They use an ambulance to go to another hospital on the other side of town. It helps them get there faster. It's obviously not the best way to do it, but some people don't have $1 to spend on the bus, but they can call an ambulance and we'll show up and they say, I need to go to this hospital, and they'll go there.
Branham and Lockard build relationships with these people to find the root of their frequent 911 calls and then get them the help they really need.
If we look at a person that calls 911 because they need to go to the hospital for different illnesses, then we can more specifically address that illness and find out if we need long-term care, if we need rehab for a little while. Just finding a more specific resource. Can you not make it to the doctor, so you need the doctor to come to you? Can you not keep up with your medicine? So if a pharmacist puts together that medication and brings it to your home in like a day minder, then now maybe you can be more compliant with your medicine. Maybe it's just too much at once to figure out.
In just a few short months, the pair have collected dozens of stories about how they have helped change lives.
So we run across a family, and you know, hardworking, but definitely you know, down in the dumps, if you will, by no fault of their own. And mom works full time in the evenings, and because they're homeless, what actually happens is the family goes to one of the homeless shelters that'll take, you know, the mom and child, and then dad ventures off to another shelter, or sometimes sleeps on the street. And by getting involved with them and having conversations with them, we've been able to connect them with some resources that have now put them on short lists to try to get them more stable family housing, which is not very prevalent in this community. However, they were helping them try to get more stable housing, and that they can be together as opposed to being separated, you know, in different shelters.
Many of their days are spent at local shelters building relationships.
Let's head to the shelter.
We were at the shelter, and the lady said, there's somebody over here, and I think she needs some attention. She needs your all's help. And we're going to call an ambulance. So we ran over there to see how she was, what was wrong, and I was able to sit down and talk to her a little bit and say, come on, just be honest with me, what's up? And she said, well, I can't get into the shelter. I have a dog, and the dog alerts people when I have seizures, and I need her to be with me. And regardless of why she has the dog, that was her that was her person. That was her companion. That was who she needed. And she couldn't take the dog in the shelter because it hadn't had its shots. That's the only thing keeping this lady from getting in the shelter. She's not going to part with her. So we were able to make a few phone calls because obviously the need is shots. So the dog just needed shots. We were able to make a few phone calls, and a veterinarian came out with a bag of food, all the vaccines the dog needed, and everything, and took care of that. And that night she was in housing
in the shelter. And we were also able then to help work with them to get her into long-term housing. She had some medical issues, she had a few things going on, and then she didn't have a need to go to a hospital to stay warm. She didn't have, you know, we addressed the specific need that she had.
The two say this community paramedicine approach to first responding is exactly why they became firefighters in the first place.
You know, I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing it here in Lexington for the last 11 and a half years. And I enjoy taking care of the people that I guess can't take care of themselves and solving their problems.
We turn our attention now to this week's meeting coverage on Lex TV. Here's Chris Edwards with the details.
Thanks, Neil. We're not in the chambers this week. We're in the Hillary Boone Center here on UK's campus. Just a few meetings to tell you about here for the first week of February, the week of February 4th. On the 5th, which is Tuesday, we'll have the 1 p.m. Planning and Public Safety Committee meeting, followed by the usual 3 p.m. Council work session. The only other meeting to tell you about this week will be the 6 p.m. February 7th formal council meeting. That'll be this Thursday evening. So Neil, that's it for this week here on Lex TV for live meetings. You can always catch the replays on Sunday afternoons. You can always catch the archives on the city's website. Neil, back to you.
Thanks, Chris, and thanks to all of you for joining us. That's all for this week. You can keep up with us on social media and check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter @LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on LexingtonKY.gov. For the staff and producers at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.